Let's talk some sports, baby.
Taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry. Back to Iguodala. Up for the layup. Oh, blocked by Jones.
And remember, make tomorrow better than today, and make today better than yesterday. And you know what we gonna do. We gonna holler at you until next time, baby.
All right, finally tonight, let's visit the world of college football once again. Since the season suspensions by the Big 12 and Pac-12, controversy has brewed among some players, coaches, and families. Many players and coaches are upset over the cancellation of their seasons when three other conferences have decided it's still safe to play. Notably, Ohio State star quarterback Justin Fields, a Heisman finalist last year, has started a petition with over 260,000 signatures to reverse the Big Ten decision. Also this week, it was reported by some sources and athletic directors that the Big Ten may not have even voted on the cancellation at all, with confusion and conflicting messages dominating the storyline. Even some parents, such as Ohio State cornerback Shaun Wade's parents, are heading to the Big Ten headquarters for answers. So, Drink, this is some surprising news coming out of the Big Ten. Think they're going to have a change of heart, or is this rift going to spur some changes in college football in the future?
Listen, your question says, do I think they're going to have a change of heart? They already had a change of heart. Let's go ahead and call it what it is. That heart has been changed already because we just heard some odd, like within the last 2 weeks, oh, it's a vote. We done had the vote. Only 2 teams voted to keep the season going. Nebraska and Iowa, was it? Like, the 2 teams we don't even care about in the Big Ten.
The report was 10-2 is what they had said happened. So
that's what we hear. And then now we hear, oh, the season going to be postponed to August 11th. Dang, that's apples and oranges, right? Because, Apple said we wasn't playing. Oranges said, oh, just a quick delay. Okay, cool. And then the parents got involved. That Mothers of America. All that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? I ain't sent my son here to sit around and build you a bench. I sent him here to play football. What are we doing here? I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I didn't send him to be an engineer. I sent him to crack heads. So I'm going to need you, that Ryan, Coach Day, to get my boys on the field, or we going to have to go. And then that's when the Big Ten commissioner comes in. Wait. Oh, no need for that. We ain't got to take nobody out. Leave them here. Leave them here. We can work this out. He on ESPN. Yeah, man, I don't even think a vote really happened. Wait, what? Okay, cool. Ooh. Now that make the parents happy, right? So now the parents like, yeah, that's what we were saying. We were saying it wasn't no vote. Yeah, that's what we were saying. Now the Big Ten is spinning them wheels a little bit, right? Because now they're trying to figure it out. They got it to where they got everybody interest, where we like, I wonder what the Big Ten really gonna do. But let's see, can they make it happen? Can they get a schedule? Can they figure this out? Which I don't understand why. The Big Ten, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. The Big Ten, the way it's set up, what team? I think it's one team that's kind of ducked off a little farther. But for the most part, I don't understand why the Big Ten can't make this happen. Furthermore, I don't understand, with you knowing that you're the first or second best conference in college football, why would you just say no so early? Why would you postpone so early without giving yourself? You knew what was going to happen. You knew what was going to, just like the SEC knew what was going to happen. That's why the SEC was like, listen, we going down to 12:59, 59 seconds. We going to squeeze everything we can get out of this before we say no. Because this is what we do. This is why these kids come here. Now everybody's like, oh, you want to put football over safety. No, the players want to put football over safety. It's not me, the fan. It's not me, the media personnel. No matter what happens, we still going to be here talking. We still going to be on TV watching. So even if like they decided not to play college football at all, okay, cool. We'll talk about the NBA then. We'll talk about the NFL. We'll do what we still going to do. What we do is my point. So don't put it on, oh, it's the fans, it's the media pushing. They don't give a rat's, tell about these kids' health. No, these kids want to play. You heard what Shaun Wade said. I did not come back from my senior year not to play. No. everybody's saying, well, listen, we're not saying college football is canceled. We're just saying we're pushing it back to fall. Did y'all talk to the NFL about that? Because I don't think the NFL gives a flying, whatever about what you're talking about. Like, I ain't seen the NFL move.
Real quick, you probably meant to say spring, right?
Spring. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We're pushing it back to spring. I'm sorry. But listen, I'm glad you corrected me on that, because they say the spring. Since when did the spring go January through March?
Where I live, it does, but yeah, most places now I hear it doesn't.
Okay, so with that said, that's even a weird conundrum itself. When you actually look at it, it keeps yelling spring, but it's actually January through March. And
I guess they're putting a lot of faith in Groundhog Day.
I guess so. So and then once you say that, right? If you have a star athlete on your team, that star athlete like, okay, I just get ready for the NFL. If you're gonna tell me I can't really play until January, what's the point? What is the point? January is when the season is over. That's not when the season starts. That's when the season is over. So now, if the season doesn't start until January, right? Well, I'm just gonna go prepare for the NFL. If that's the case, because you think about it, most of these guys going to get drafted at the spot that they're supposed to get drafted at anyway, because you can't. What you gonna say? You don't got enough tape? You got enough tape. What you gonna say? You didn't see enough? You didn't see enough of anybody, because nobody's playing for real. So that's why I wasn't a big fan of the pushback, because we're gonna talk about it later. A head coach have come out in the news and said you will render college football irrelevant if you push it to spring, because all the names, because you don't necessarily call them stars in college football because they're student athletes, but all the names that we know are going to bounce. They're going to leave. They're out of here. Finito. See you later. Catch you on the other side. They're out of here. So it doesn't matter. Now, to answer your question, with this real change college football? I do not think so, unless we have another pandemic of the sort. I do think, like I've always said, you get ideas out of all this, right? So I do think an idea would be created out of this, but I don't necessarily think that this is a problem we see for a long term. Like, it's a reoccurring problem. That's what I want to say. I don't think it's a reoccurring thing. I think I would get an NCAA this or the conferences. I would get an individual conferences this. They're trying to do something. They're not just sitting there. They're not pulling a Washington football team. We ain't gonna do nothing. Like, they're actually putting forth an effort to do something. So I gotta give them that credit, right? They're trying to make something happen. And I get a Big Ten this credit. You messed up. You messed up, Big Ten, by declaring so early that you wasn't gonna play. And you're eating crow for it. But at least you're willing to eat crow to go back and maybe get a solution to this. You knew doggone well when you said that what these parents was going to do. You knew it was going to happen. This is the Big Ten. This ain't the AAC. Like, this ain't the Sun Belt Conference. This is the Big Ten Conference. You knew what was going to happen when you canceled the season. I don't know why the AD and the president, I always think about. Come on, man. You got to be better than that. You know what time it is. So, with that said, I like what Justin Fields. I want to give a shout out to the likes of, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence. I seen Najee Harris, a couple of other stars. I think Chuba Herbert, the running back. I seen him say some things. Even Travis Etienne. I like. Because of the way college football is set up, they don't supposed to be stars or brands. They're supposed to just be student athletes. But I like these guys that got a name for themselves coming out saying, we want to play. They started the we want to play movement. I like that because the players are the ones that's going to make this happen. Make no mistake. If the players keep saying that they want to play, we're going to play. That's all it is to it. It's just like the NBA bubble. LeBron wanted to play basketball. We playing basketball. It is what it is. And if those young stars say they want to play, they're going to figure out a way to play. So kudos to those guys. Shouts out to them. Holla at your boy. And, let's get some NCAA football, baby.
So do you have the Big Ten playing football this fall?
I think we about to they caving in. I
Yeah.
think we about to
Okay.
roll on to it.
I
Yeah, I
love it.
think
Okay.
they're gonna play.
Yeah, I love to see this, by the way, because as you know, I was pretty disappointed that the Big Ten made the decision. They were first to make the decision that we gonna wait till the spring. All right, that's a big blow because, as I said, I mean, and Dabo Swinney disagrees. Like, no, it's gonna be a legit college football national champion, and then could be Alabama, Clemson, like usual. But as you know, Ohio State's always in the mix, somewhat. They're in it. And then there's a lot of next level teams that are at least in the rankings. You think about Michigan, Penn State, Wisconsin, even Iowa. Minnesota now is up in there doing some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of teams in the Big Ten worth watching. This ain't the Pac-12 we're talking about.
Oh,
by the way.
Pac-12. Did you bring up Pac-12? Let's hear about the Pac-12 since you brought them up.
Oh, by the way, I love what I'm hearing from the Big Ten. They pushing back. You ain't heard radio silence in the Pac-12. Nobody's making a fuss. I don't even know if anyone even cares. This is, like you said, like they just want the beaches open. Anyway, but I love what I'm seeing from people in the Big Ten. Shout out to Justin Fields. Get the petition. Get all the signatures. Similar, you remember when the Major League Baseball was having some troubles in the Players Association and the commissioner, they couldn't get on the same page, and then it was some of the star players that started on social media the win and wear hashtag, and then that's what kind of really got things going for them. Similar type thing here. I love it. I mean, you know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like a peaceful protest. You know how much we love them. So I'm all about it. Players push back. Let's get this thing going. This is what I want to see. The Big Ten matters. This is not the Pac-12. As far as I'm concerned, we can go ahead and change it from the Power 5 to the Power 4 and move on and get the season cooking. Let's move.
Somebody get disrespectful in here today, folks.
Oh my!
Go ahead, Cody.
Oh my! Just roasting the Pac-12. I'm fine with it. I know you used to roast the Pac-12. The biggest things you look at with this, what's really striking is the Big Ten. I'm thinking what happened is they wanted to go ahead and cank this. They had a lot of pushback from some of the ADs and the presidents and the coaches that called them and said, "Yo, don't do this. Don't drop the ball on this." But they really like that united front. The Big Ten's always been the united front kind of conference. We're all together. We're all locked arms. Like the SEC is basically Alabama and whoever else wants to play that year. The ACC's been Clemson or Florida State since the entire inception of it. But the Big Ten's always had this kind of more like cohesive feel about them. And I think what they probably didn't want the word to get out of how controversial and how split this was in the conference. They try to say, oh, yeah, vote. It was like 12-2. I mean, it's unanimous. We all wanted to shut down the season. And it's kind of coming out now. It's leaking around the seams of maybe we didn't want that. Because we know like teams like Nebraska were high. Even Ohio State had threatened to go play elsewhere. Now, again, I don't know if they can do that, but hey, maybe they can. But the big problem with the Big Ten now is they're sort of back in this no-win. Because if you look at the rationale, they said we are shutting the season down because of COVID-19. We don't think it's safe to play. And after talking to our doctors, we do not think it's safe. Well, if enough people get pissed, is it just, well, we're going to play anyway. Good luck, guys. Like, unless you can convince me that your rationale of the pandemic changed, then it looks really bad for your conference. Now, they could just say, hey, maybe if everyone wants to do it, then we're just let them take the risk. I don't know, but that's going to be a hard decision to walk back because of the spirit of which the decision was made, which was player health and safety. And if that hasn't ridiculously changed, which it hasn't in the last week or two, that's going to be a tough hurdle to overcome, right? But I would say besides that, if you wait till spring, the NFL draft's a big issue. Most of these players are not going to play because, they say spring. What they really mean is March, April, May. It's likely they would probably say, hey, come back from, school, come back to school in January. You practice for a couple weeks, maybe 5-6 weeks, then you play the games. You're going to run right through the NFL draft. And I can tell you the NFL draft ain't going to move very much, if at all. So you'll have a lot of players that just go, look, I'm not going to get drafted when I'm only 5 games through my regular season. Like, I'm not going to risk that. Even with a minor injury, I could miss training camp, or my draft stock could slide even over a minor, not like some season ending injury, a torn quad or something. That could take me out for the draft, and I could be a 4th round pick and make $1 million versus be a 1st round pick and make $7 or $8, $9 million. So that's a big problem. And a lot of even pretty good players would just say, hey, forget it. I'm not interested in this. So I wonder at this point they can even walk it back. And I do think you're going to see on the subject some serious changes, regardless if the Big Ten decides they're going to play in the fall or not, which, again, at this point, it's hard to imagine they're going to be able to get this back on track. They might. I mean, people get mad about stuff changes it pretty fast. We all know that. But I would say that you're going to potentially see a commissioner come out for college football through the 5 conferences. One person is going to become because that's been something that's been pushed on before. But now more than ever, they need a unified voice. One person to say, hey, we're doing this or we're not. And they don't have that right now, which is what you lead to this 3-2 fiasco. This 10 conference. Go ahead.
I was just gonna. I'm glad you brought that up because I totally forgot to say about that. But I would say this: the problem I hear is how could you make a commissioner for? Because they said the reason you can't make a commissioner for the NCAA is because these are students; they're not professional athletes. Even though they generate just as much money as professional sports. Mm-hmm. But they are students by the law. Like they're students first, then athletes. They're student athletes. So because they're in a collegiate atmosphere, they say you can't put a commissioner in there to make them do anything because they're not professionals. Because they still got amateurism.
I mean, you would have to keep the power structure would have to be like a voluntary through the 5, conference, presidents or however they have it. The structure, the 5 leaders, the leader of each conference would have to. I guess they'd have to just say, hey, look, we're going to be more of a board, and we're going to leave the ultimate decision up to a single person and kind of function out like a CEO does in a company, where the conferences would probably still make their own individual decisions, but they'd be unified. There would be one voice, and there'd be one person making the decisions. So, I mean, and again, that's going to be a tricky water to navigate, but they already done it with the playoff and everything else. They could figure it out if they really wanted to. I think this 10-game conference schedule is going to stick around. I don't know about y'all, but some of these look pretty good. And I think a lot of these cupcake nonsense games are not going to come back. I think this is something you're going to see. And
oh, no.
The players are pushing pretty hard for some kind of union. And I think that's something else you can see. These players are going to want some kind of protection and not get ran over as much. If their seasons are in jeopardy, if they had a whole union, maybe the whole players could say, hey, we're all not playing unless it's all in the fall. So, that's just some things to consider. But I think this is, even if this doesn't get fixed, this is going to be a big deal for college football, not just this year, but beyond.